Welcome back, restless souls, to another journey into the uncanny. Tonight, we begin with a question that has haunted humanity for decades. What happens when the lights go dark and we wake miles away, stripped of time itself? We'll probe the most chilling alien abduction accounts ever recorded, where missing hours become scars on the mind. But the cosmos isn't our only frontier. We'll turn toward West Virginia's misty graveyards to unearth the legend of Serilda Jane Whetzel, the so-called Witch of Mannington. Her headstone a beacon for restless shadows and curious thrill seekers alike. Then prepare your senses for a bizarre burial segment where we confront endocannibalism rituals, sacred, somber ceremonies in which the living consume their dead. It's a glimpse into death rites that defy every taboo we ever thought we understood. Next, a swift flyby through cryptozoology's deadliest folklore, a cryptid quickie. When the Pukwudgie, the 2-foot terror of native legend, decides it doesn't like you, you'll know why. And finally, the decades-old mystery of Clarendon Ray Rowan Jr., last seen boarding a bus and never arriving home. We'll share the known facts, the lingering questions, and the locations to send your tips. So lock your doors, dim the lights, and lean in close. Let's begin. Hey y'all, how's everybody doing today? How are you, Amy?
I am teacher tired, Bambi.
Are you? How was your day?
It was really good.
Good.
We started doing staggered start this year, so we only had 6 at school today, but it was those 6 that was their first day, and yesterday there were 9, and that was their first day. So I've had 2 first days of school.
Oh, well, both were good though, right?
Yes, they were both really good.
Well, that's good.
A lot better than I expected, really. I always expect the worst, and then I'm excited whenever I get the best. So.
I mean, they're littles. So
They are. They're cute littles.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
We're
Good.
going to have a fun group. So I want to tell you a quick story. Can I do that?
Of course.
Okay. So every weekend I go to the holler. Me and Zoe and the dogs are there. I'm in the laundry room, and I'm pulling things out, and all of a sudden Zoe just kind of appears beside me and goes,
hey,
will you come outside? Nope. What do you want?
Not if you're gonna approach me that way. I'm not.
You started this off with and I don't really know if it was an implied or the was actually there, but I could tell something was not okay, which she was about to tell me about.
Right. So
I look at her, and this is the most West Virginia thing. The child is standing there. She is not a child. She's like technically an adult, I guess. But she is standing there. A can of Vienna sausages in one hand and a half-eaten Vienna sausage in the other, and kind of doing
that's glorious.
Taking all this. Like,
I love it.
What's wrong? She said, I need to show you something, but it's outside. Absolutely not. What do you need to show me?
I don't want to see it.
You know where the holler is. You've been out there.
Okay.
It is a holler. And she said, so I was outside on the porch, and I looked over, and I see this tree, and the trees aren't moving, but 2 separate leaves are moving. And I went, Zoe, we don't enter Feywilds.
That's what I was just going to say. No, ma'am.
This is a Fey trap. And
no, don't do
if
it.
Anybody asks you... I
have seen that.
It's not okay. No, it's really weird. I warned her, if someone says to you, may I have your name? You absolutely say no, and you go away from wherever that is.
Correct.
We don't enter the Feywild.
We don't.
So she tells me this, and I finally go out there to look at it, and she's like, I really just thought all that stuff was fake, Amy. Okay, well, you can think that. That's fine.
Right.
No,
you know.
I was like, you're talking to a person who has told you multiple times, I do not doubt the existence of anything, because how can you? So, and she's standing there and she's looking and she said, it stopped. And I said, that's because that's for you. And I come back in. So she comes back in and she has recorded, and this time it's just the one leaf.
Oh.
And she shows me the video. It's just the one, but she showed me where the other was. So now she's like, she's a little wigged out and kept repeating, I said that stuff wasn't real. That's just made up. I'm like, I mean, there's probably some scientific explanation, but as far as I'm concerned, a fae was trying to get your attention.
Yeah, that's always what that's going to be for me. I've seen it several times, and you know, when you're younger, especially before you really know any of the things, you you see it and you're like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder what would do that. And then you get older and you're like, oh, okay.
I've played too much D&D to know.
Yeah.
To not know what's going on here, rather.
Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah. Best I got here is an attempted fairy ring once.
Yeah. Craig used to send me pictures. He had a mushroom circle in the back.
Oh.
And around the stump, by the way.
Oh, where Aragog lives?
Yes.
Oh.
So now...
Congratulations on owning a...
Now that I've just connected those two, what's happening back there?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Maybe we don't go back there at all anymore.
No, anyway. Yeah. That escaped me until just now when we were talking about it. I realized that's where the mushrooms were.
The mushroom ring that I had was in the back 40 back there, and it didn't lose all the way. So I was like, I'm still safe. Let me mow this down.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Do this somewhere else. Thanks.
I mean, fields on either side of me, and you pick mine. Come on now.
I know, right? Yeah, there's plenty around there. There because it knows. They know.
It knows. It knows.
They know. But see, that's the thing. They shouldn't. If they know, they shouldn't pick people that know already. No, because we know better. So.
Hey, you should tell us your wild story that you told me today.
Oh, yes, I can do that. I'll start off with, I've had this necklace since I was probably about 15, maybe 16. And it's just got like a canary yellow stone in it. It's just a solitaire. A few months ago, the stone fell out and I found it on my kitchen table. And then I went and looked, because I take them off and hang them up. Then I went and looked and I was like, oh crap, it's gone, So that's it. So I have this little Tiffany bag from years and years ago that I put all of my stones in if they fall out of things so that I could do something with them later or fix it. So I went and got the chain and put it in there, and then I put my stone in there. So this morning, I'm sitting at the table, and it's very early in the morning, and I'm waiting on Lainey to get ready for school. And I glance down right by my phone, and the stone is laying there. And I was like, well, that's weird, because this just happened a few months ago. Why is it out here? And it's laying the same exact spot that it was in. And I was like, maybe Lainey got into my bag. But then I was like, it's way up here. I mean, whatever. So I pick it up. And I go to my bag, and anytime I put anything in it, I always pour everything out.
Yes.
To look at all my treasure, because it sparkles and stuff. So
because you're gullible.
Right. I pour everything out, and I'm like, oh, and lo and behold, it's already in there. So I'm holding the one I just found in my right hand and all of my stones, including the same exact stone in my left. I don't own two of these. I've never even seen whatever this is before, other than the one that I have. Like, I've never seen a stone this color. So I get the one that I had found months ago and put it, on my hand perfectly beside the other one so I can compare them. And I'm like, well, maybe this is a different one. They are the exact stone. They are the same color. They're the same shape. All of the little cuts in it are same. Everything about it's the same one. So I've had my first glitch. I have all day long. I've been like, huh?
So I need you to every day dump out that bag and see what's in there. Yeah. take inventory, take a picture.
Collecting these stones, I'll have enough to really do something. They just keep showing up. Like how many dimensions that stone is in, but
maybe they're meant to be we're both supposed to have those stones or something, and you're supposed to make me something cool and send it to me.
That's exactly what I had actually intended.
First item or something.
Right?
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
What if you did that and when you mailed it to me, it wasn't in the box, but you knew you put it in the box?
Now we have to test it. I have to make something.
I know.
All right. We have a pretty good bunch of stuff today. Very random and eclectic. There's not really a theme.
So,
I know.
I mean, same, because we're random and eclectic, right?
Certainly are. That is for sure. So I'm going to start today with abductions and other extraterrestrial experiences.
Righty.
I tried to find some. Most people that have heard of them, they've heard of the Barney and Betty Hill from 1961 story, which I will do some on that too. But I found some other ones that I had never heard before, which are really cool. Craig actually requested this one as we have a space thing. My engagement ring is actually a piece of meteorite, so we love the space stuff. So we're going to do this one. So I'm going to start us off with Barney and Betty Hill. This happened in 1961 in New Hampshire. They were driving the Dark Spine Road of Route 3. The Hills watched a light swell and swoop until it bled into their headlights. A humming craft figures at its windows, then a blank stretch of time, 2 hours missing from the map of their night. Under hypnosis, they described gray beings, needle-thin instruments, and a star map Betty later drew, linked by some Zeta Reticuli. A roadside marker stands where the sky first bent toward them. The Hill case remains the canonical American abduction narrative, with extensive records, media adaptations, and even a state historical marker at the alleged site. Archival UFO files from federal agencies once scattered across FOIA releases are now broadly accessible to the public, giving researchers a paper trail of related sightings and investigations. Behavioral and psychological changes reported after the Hill case. Betty experienced intense recurrent nightmares about clinical examinations aboard a craft in the weeks after the drive. Barney suffered significant anxiety and insomnia, prompting psychiatric referral 2 years later. Both reported heightened anxiety tied to the missing time and fragmented recollections, leading them to seek hypnotherapy with Boston psychiatrist Benjamin Simon in December 1963 to reconstruct memories and reduce stress. Under Simon's hypnosis, each produced detailed but compartmentalized narratives of examinations by non-human beings, which they and many later accounts treated as recovered memories. Simon himself approached the material as potentially shaped by dreams and suggestions while treating their anxiety clinically. Physical observations and household anomalies often cited. Betty's dress was torn and later reportedly showed an unusual powdery substance. Barney's shoes were scraped, details the couple associated with the missing time interval, that's kind of weird to me that's what associated the time interval.
Yeah.
Of all the things that could have done that, his shoes.
His shoes were scraped?
They were scraped, yes.
Scraped where?
I don't know.
On the sides, on the tilt?
The bottom? No, that wouldn't make me.
Well, I mean, you're going to get scuffed shoes from walking on concrete or
shoes.
So this
I'm going to see if I can find pictures of Barney's shoes.
There's a documentary about them, isn't there? And
there's a bunch, yeah.
It's in something else too, because I remember watching it.
Yeah, that's one of the most known.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen a lot on that one. And that is the end of that one. Then we have, in 1975, in Arizona, we have Travis Walton. Loggers in the Apache Sitgraves Forest saw a blue disc breathing light over the ponds. Travis stepped closer. There was a crack-like air tearing, and he vanished. For 5 days, the crew were suspects in a murder without a body. Yeah. I watched a lot on this one yesterday. Then Travis returned, dazed, telling of a sterile room, hairless entities, a human-like figure in a helmet, and a pressure in his chest like a second heartbeat.
Okay.
The incident fueled fire in the sky.
What was the crew from?
They were loggers.
Oh, they were loggers. Okay.
Yes.
The logging crew. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And all of these people have been interviewed extensively. So you can find lots on this one too. There were multiple witnesses. There were 6 co-workers reported seeing the object and Walton being hit by a beam, forming a rare multi-witness abduction case. Coverage over the years has emphasized the number of witnesses and their conspiracy in retellings. He has taken polygraph tests. His co-workers were investigated while he was missing. Accounts highlighting their passing of polygraphs are often cited by believers as supportive, though the weight of such tests is disputed in forensic science and by skeptics in the case, of course, because it always is.
Mm-hmm.
Supporters point out that Walton's sudden reappearance, weight loss, and subsequent hypnotic regression sessions that produce a detailed narrative of a clinical environment and non-human beings. Walton has continued to revisit the site with investigators and present his experience as genuine, including later reframing the event less as an abduction and more of something akin to an emergency intervention after he was injured by the beam.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
So they're talking about like the beam me up Scotty beam that you see
A literal
movies about UFOs. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I know. The next one is the Pascagoula River, which this happened in 1973 in Mississippi. This is just a short, nondescript one. 2 shipyard workers, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, were fishing when the river went quiet. The crickets swallowed. A pearly craft settled by the bank. The description of these guys is absurd. I watched some stuff on this one also. I'll post pictures.
Okay.
Dang. 3-carat smooth creatures with pincher hands floated them aboard. Cold examinations, a single eye where a mouth should be, and then they were back on the pier shaking. At the sheriff's office, a hidden recorder caught them whispering the same terror they had just told out loud. These guys kind of look, do you remember Boobas?
Yeah.
They kind of look like that.
I'm bothered by the description being carrot smooth.
Right.
I have questions about that. There's questions.
They are, the guy described him in an interview that I watched, and he described it at one point as having elephant-like skin.
I don't like that either.
Felt like that's what it would feel like, but that it was smooth but wrinkled. I don't know.
Smooth but wrinkled, huh? That is not at all what comes to mind. Not a carrot, certainly.
Especially, no, not with a carrot or an elephant.
No.
Then we have 1976 in Maine, the Allagash Wilderness. 4 art students watched a hoisted sphere of light glide over a black lake. Their campfire, a towing beacon, burned down to coals far too fast. Years later, under separate hypnosis sessions, each described being led through metallic corridors, examined beneath a cone of light, and marked by a needle prick that followed them out of the trees. That sounds
I don't
not
like any
cool.
of those things.
And I couldn't find a whole big bunch on that, which is kind of odd because that's pretty descriptive. I feel like we should have more on that.
I mean, that felt like somebody stepped into a back room through an elevator.
Right.
Kind of situation.
Right. But they were in the woods.
I don't like that.
So
that's worse.
That one. I know. Then we have Linda Cortill in 1989 in Manhattan. A woman in a midtown high-rise awoke paralyzed as a blue luminescence pressed through her bedroom wall. She and 3 small beings drifted out into open air, witnessed, she said, by passing motorists on FDR Drive and even security personnel in a nearby motorcade. In the craft, a cold clinical quiet. Afterward, a reign of controversy, missing minutes, and a red pinprick behind the right ear that never quite healed. Yeah. She had recurrent headaches and occasional nosebleeds that were reported in the aftermath. A pattern she linked to the alleged encounter and procedures aboard the aircraft. She had a heightened sensitivity to light, periods of fatigue, and a run-out feeling described in the weeks following.
Are you going to talk about whether or not any of those witnesses saw this and reported it?
I didn't look that far into this one.
And I'm curious exactly what the motorcade was all about.
See, that was my question. If it was a security motorcade, big people, so did these people? Yeah, I want to know. I want to know more.
Was the motorcade heading to a secret location? So the aliens and whoever was in that motorcade, hold on, were they meeting secretly? The aliens and the motorcade?
If there were that many witnesses, and I couldn't find anything. Accounts reference tenderness near her navel, consistent with her narrative of a needle procedure there, and transient small marks that she associated with the event. Ew. She had difficulty sleeping, startle awakenings, and fear of windows at night, particularly those facing open sky, were frequently noted. I mean, understandable. A sharpened startle response, anxiety when alone after dark, and behavioral tweaks like keeping blinds down or rerouting nightly routines. Fragmentary recall, flashback-like intrusions, and reliance on later hypnosis sessions to structure the narrative, accompanied by doubt, rumination, and second-guessing. The Stanford abductions of 1976 in Kentucky. 3 friends driving home from a late shift saw a reddish orb stalk their car along lonely farm roads. Time slipped, the odometer didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. Nausea, burns to the skin, and triangle punctures appeared by morning. Their watches died. A windowless room, an exam table, and beings speaking without mouths. Flat thoughts pressed directly into their minds. That would
I don't like that.
Not where I want to be in life.
What does that even mean? Flat thoughts. Like unemotional thoughts? I don't understand.
I guess they just felt the words in there. Ew. I didn't like how I described that, but I think that's what it is.
I don't like it.
So some other encounters, these are a little more detailed, I guess you could say.
Okay.
The Aurora airship in Texas in 1897.
Holy crap.
Yes. Before flying saucers had words, a wind-borne mystery supposedly fell into a quiet town and left a grave behind. It's American myth in seed form, Victorian headlines, a cemetery, and an uneasy feeling that wonder and hoax sometimes hold hands. That one I have not heard of either. I mean, look, it was 1897. You would think that you would have heard some more about that, though. And then, of course, we have the Flatwoods Monster in Flatwoods, West Virginia in 1952. A fiery object arcs over the hills. Kids and a mother hike toward the glow and meet something tall, metallic sounding, with a spade-shaped head and eyes burning like coal. The scent of something acrid hangs in the air. It's part UFO, part Appalachian nightmare. Local lore still treats the hillside like sacred ground for the uncanny. True story.
Have you ever been to the actual site?
I have not.
Is that like a thing? I haven't either.
It is, but
I've been to Flatwood.
Really own.
This is not.
They do have the museum. I haven't been there either.
Didn't I go there? Didn't I?
I think.
Hold on.
So.
Didn't I send you a message from there? Isn't that where I bought Lainey the penny thing?
Oh. I don't remember. I feel like you have been there.
There's just a blank space where my memories should be. We went to somewhere and saw the things. I think that was what it was. Because we also went to like a Bigfoot museum. I don't even remember where we had gone up to camp. So
probably did. You have to go.
That was probably what we was doing.
Probably. But yeah, that's one of our beloveds. So of course I had to put her in there. Then we have the Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins in Kentucky in 1955.
Mm-hmm.
A farmhouse turned fortress. Small, luminous figures peeking through windows and around the eaves, while a terrified family fires back into the night. Deputies arrive to find spent shells and rattled witnesses. The siege motif, claustrophobic, relentless, gives you a cinematic arc in a single night's run of fear. I feel like that's signs.
Yeah.
It was a farmhouse. They were trapped inside, and I feel like that might be where that came from. But I can't remember what they looked like in signs. Or did we see them?
I don't think we saw them. They were just implied
ones. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
I don't think we did.
I haven't seen that movie in a minute.
It's been a very long time. Me either.
Yeah. I have information if you want it right quick.
Yes.
So I checked, and it says that it was not based on a single true story, but was inspired by several. And then it mentions the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter. Yes.
Okay. That was the first thing
know.
I thought when I first read about it. I was like, that sounds like the movie Signs to me. Socorro Lonnie Zamora in New Mexico in 1964. A calm police officer becomes a believer. An oval craft, a strange insignia and scorched brush, and landing imprints anchor the tale in physicality. Its restrained, almost precision details and silence heavy as desert heat. I haven't heard anything about that one either.
I've not heard that one, I don't think.
Executor incident in New Hampshire in 1965. Red lights that hover with predatory patience. Multiple witnesses, including police, triangulate the same impossible quiet, lean into the emptiness of the New England night, a breath between radio calls, the dread when the sky won't answer back. I did watch something on that one also. Then we have the Kecksburg incident in Pennsylvania in 1965. Something acorn-shaped dropped into the woods. Yeah. Rumor says the military moves faster than the leaves can settle. Whispers of a trucked away object and sealed lips. The forest holds its breath while men with clipboards erase footprints.
Is that the one where people found parts of it and it looked like maybe crumpled like aluminum foil and then went back into place?
That's what I was just going to say. I think that might be it.
Okay.
I remember that one, and that was something that was like later, like people were finding stuff like,
and then people later visited and told, no, you didn't see it. No,
you did not. Yeah. So the most credible, just because of the situation and who was encountering it, is the Coyne helicopter encounter in Ohio in 1973. An Army Reserve helicopter becomes a toy in a cat's paw of green light. Altimeter climbs without input. The cockpit washes in radiance. Military witnesses make this one feel engineered. This being considered the most credible encounter, and I'll elaborate on that. 4 Army Reserve crew members are flying a UH-1 helicopter at night when a cigar-shaped object approached at high speed. A green beam flooded the cockpit, and the helicopter's altimeter showed an uncommanded climb, almost as if the craft was pulling them upward. Then, just as suddenly, the object vanished.
Cigar-shaped?
Cigar-shaped.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's just not a description I hear much.
You do now. That's one of the shapes. You've got the saucer and the cigar.
So it's like oblong with points?
Yes.
Okay.
And you've got the V, of course. That's what I saw.
The
V-shaped. Okay, so why this is considered credible, of course, is because it was military. It was military witnesses with a craft from the military and all that, which makes sense. All 4 crew members were trained observers, including pilot Lawrence Coyne, a decorated officer with Special Forces certification. Coyne reported the incident to the Federal Aviation Administration, which took his account seriously. The instrument readings and crew testimonies suggested real measurable interference. All witnesses gave matching accounts, and Coyne maintained his story for decades, even appearing before the United Nations.
Wow.
FAA official P.J. Vollmer said of Coyne, I personally have an extremely high regard for his integrity and capability. I trust his judgment without a question of doubt. So,
wow.
Yeah. I watched some of their interviews and their recounting of it also. That sounds pretty wild because apparently they had the controls going down because they were trying to descend. And as they're descending, they were actually moving upward instead of like they were trying to control it to do. After all of this, decommissioned the helicopter because nothing would work after that. All of the instruments wouldn't work, the controls wouldn't work, nothing worked after that. So, yeah.
Right.
The Val Johnson incident in Minnesota in 1979. A deputy meets a light that hits back, shattered headlamp, bent antenna, synchronized clock anomalies. The damage reads like a police report from a fairy tale, material evidence stamped by something you can't subpoena. I haven't found a whole lot about that either, which kind of makes me sad because that sounds pretty interesting. It messed the car up, apparently. The Cash Landrum encounter in Texas in 1980. A diamond craft brimming with heat that bites. Skin burns, nausea, and a sky suddenly crowded with helicopters. It's a hard collision of the uncanny with the body. Whatever hovered there didn't leave when it left. It stayed in blood work and medical files. So that's another one that I've already got written down to go into a little more because I haven't heard of that one either. So that is a few of the brief encounters and abductions. I tried to get some more, of course, that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
I know they're a little less in detail, but I think the ones that I still want to look into, like I said, I have a list of other things that I have researched that I want to go into a little more because there's a lot.
I have a macabre musing.
Oh,
What? That was so bad. What if the triangle-shaped spacecraft comes from the Bermuda Triangle? And because don't beams and stuff get scrambled? I've been through the Bermuda Triangle, by the way.
I mean, that makes sense. And we don't know what Bermuda Triangle is. However, if you'll recall, was it last year when all the drones boats were coming up out of the ocean and they were like, oh, yeah, that's just where the UFOs come from.
Oh.
Yeah, they also eventually blamed that on just people with drones, which I'm sorry, that's not what that was. So, but whatever, say what you want to say. Which is really dumb. I mean, let's be real. We've declassified all that. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Most of those were classified, I guess, as personal drones and not UFOs coming out of the ocean. And there were lots of accounts on this. So, like video of them coming out.
I remember that it was all over
water.
The internet.
So, if one were to believe a story of whether or not that was UFOs or just some dude playing with his drone, I'm inclined to think that it was not just some dude playing with his drone. And the amount also. There were like tons.
Like, okay, so they have those light shows now that are drone shows.
Yeah.
So they could do like all the I don't understand any of that. That's technology. I don't do technology. Again, I know how to push the button on this computer.
Hey. It works.
I would still use a film camera if they existed. So, I am going to talk to you today about Serilda Jane Whetzel.
I love that name.
I do too. It's fancy. And Whetzel is spelled Whetzel, and you can also find it without the H because it is on her headstone with the H. That is how we are spelling it for the purposes of this podcast. So, according to the website FamilySearch.com, Serilda Jane Whetzel was born in December 1842 in Marion County, West Virginia, to John Whetzel and Elizabeth Kendall, who were 36 and 26 respectively. She died on May 29th, 1905 at the age of 62 and is buried in Highland Cemetery in Mannington, West Virginia. Do you remember when I went to visit my family? Was it last year? The aunt and I went and toured a bunch of different places. I didn't know this was
last year
because they live. It might be 5 minutes, so it's like a mile or two from there. I had no idea. Yeah, because when I would look up attractions or whatever it is on Google Maps that were near us, that never came up. So
really
missed out on that opportunity.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that's where I went, and we went to Moundsville, and I got that EVP when I was in according to the website southeastexpress.org, Highland Cemetery is perched atop Mannington's highest hill, and I don't know if that's true or not, but it's making me realize that there are a lot of cemeteries on hills in West Virginia, and I'm wondering if that is a terrain thing.
Probably so.
So Serilda is known as the Witch of Highland, and her final resting place has inspired legends of curses, dancing spirits, and eerie encounters that persist more than a century after her death. Visitors climbing the hill report an immediate shift in atmosphere as the ground slopes upward towards Serilda's monument. So let's talk about some cemetery anomalies. Serilda's tomb is the only one oriented in reverse, as if turning her spirit away from the rest of the dead. Her stone features a set of stairs and a gate. The stairs, instead of rising upward, appear to plunge into a demonic maw. Folklore suggests that these are protective wards against her powers or markers of her damned fate. Various strands of local folklore and funerary lore have sprung up to explain why the tomb points west and away from every other headstone in the cemetery. There are no church or sexton's records to confirm the real reason, but here are a few of the most common theories. As a sign of shame, so the villagers convinced she was a witch supposedly turned her marker away from the churchyard as an act of disgrace, literally turning her back on the community's faith. And I have a question suddenly. Aren't graveyards attached to churches?
Yes.
And cemeteries are separate from a church?
Yes.
But I think that I read was with a church, but are they still called a cemetery?
There is a church there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I remember watching something about that a while back, because I was confused about that too, because there is a church on the premises. They just did a bunch of like reconstruction stuff.
I think I actually say something about that in here further on. I'm not sure. I was just very confused all of a sudden because I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Graveyards are with a church. So, another theory is a spirit binding practice. Some believe the westward orientation was meant to trap or repel her spirit by forcing it to stare toward hell, which would be the setting sun, rather than the rising light, which would be the sunrise. Some say it's a stonemason's reversal. Anecdotes claim a sympathetic stonecutter quietly flipped the stone at burial so that Serilda would look homeward toward the mountains where she grew up. And that just, I love that.
I mean, that sounds great. I like that one.
Yeah. Symbolic or artistic choice. Because her stone's carved staircase appears to descend into a demon's mouth, some suggest the layout was deliberately reversed to enhance the dramatic downward to hell imagery. There has been some paranormal activity associated with her grave, which I gather has turned into a local I dare ya kind of place.
Right.
You know what I mean by that? Like, I dare you to go touch her grave.
Yeah.
All right. So, without further ado, let's get down to the nopes and no thank yous portion of this story. Are you ready? Favorite part.
I know.
Apparitions dancing at midnight. Witnesses describe two glowing silhouettes, one feminine, one masculine, slowly circling her grave in a ritual-like dance around midnight. Interesting, since the witching hour is usually considered to be 3 a.m. It is said the two bow to each other and then vanish into thin air as soon as anyone approaches, which makes me wonder how anyone ever saw it, because you are, in fact, approaching.
Right. Huh.
Right? The unnamed male companion is often referred to as the warlock, but no historical records actually pin down his identity. Some speculate that the warlock was her nephew and that they were involved in witchcraft as a team. Other stories of the nephew suggested he visited her grave, leaving tokens to calm her spirit. Some accounts stated that this nephew disappeared under suspicious circumstances after visiting her grave. I'm going to touch on some of this later on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay.
Are you going to bring that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Disembodied laughter and whispers. That's our favorite thing.
Yeah. I love
that. On still nights, high-pitched cackles, not just laughter, cackles, erupt from the vicinity of the tombstone, rising and falling as though carried on an unseen current. Some visitors report faint, angry whispers, often unintelligible curses, trailing off in the dead of night. And I assume when they're saying curses, they're saying curse words.
That's what I always think.
But
curses.
Or is somebody just tossing out a hex here and there?
That's what I was beyond. Say.
I don't know.
Hey, I feel like it would probably be actual curses, not shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, damn.
Speaking of,
if they're unintelligible, they wouldn't know.
Then how you know what any of it is?
Right. So, an all damn well shit. If you don't know what they're saying,
right?
Yeah.
Sudden cold breezes and touches. Gross.
Yeah.
I can handle the cold breeze. No, thank you with the touch. Even on warm evenings, intruders feel icy gusts localized around her plot, as if her grave radiates a chill barrier. Several accounts describe an inexplicable brush against their shoulder or back when no one else is nearby, prompting goosebumps and fleeing footsteps. And what I wonder here is, can the others hear the footsteps, or is it just the unfortunate soul who was touched by an angel or a demon?
That's a valid question.
I feel like it is. So if this was you and it happened to you, please chime in, because mine's one and another.
Yep.
Some photographic and audio oddities. Paranormal investigators claim photos taken at her stone sometimes reveal orbs of light drifting just above ground level. We love an orb.
Yeah, I love orbs.
Some digital voice recordings capture faint laughter or moaning, exactly where the laughter was heard, though skeptics point to wind noise. Yeah.
I don't like laughter, or I certainly don't like moaning.
My favorite thing was the cackle. The cackling
things. Yeah, I don't like cackling. Just
I don't want to. I cackle enough myself. Thanks.
Yeah.
So when I was talking about it had seemed to be one of those local area places,
right?
So teen thrill seekers recount sprinting to the grave on a dare, and about half say they heard their name whispered right behind them, spurring panic. Yeah. A small group trying to conduct a seance, idiots, reported their candles extinguishing one by one, only to reignite simultaneously seconds later.
Well, that's what you
cool, but
for that.
That's it.
That I wouldn't be doing a seance.
We don't open portals.
I don't. No, expect issue.
So let us venture back to her family search page. There is a small section on the left side, very near the bottom, marked Story Highlight, which reads, "Not a witch, Serilda is buried in a out-of-the-way small church cemetery which has been subject to vandals over the years. About 10 years ago, someone who was born at least 50 years after her death decided she was a witch and her nephew was a warlock with a cult." And I am going to read this exactly how it is written on there. "Tosco died while chopping wood on New Year's Eve. He is also buried here. No doubt there were parties up on the hill after the area's families moved away. I don't think Serilda attended. He grave," and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say her grave, "he gravestone has a stairway to heaven. Like a lot of old grave sites on hills, it may have shifted, and someone decided it was stairway down. I spent a few afternoons at family reunions on that hill, and never did I fear anyone in the ground or above." And that, my muses, is the story of Serilda Jane Whetzel, who is in fact not a witch, but simply a woman buried in a cemetery on a hill in Mannington, West Virginia.
True story. Yeah, there's a lot.
Sorry to disillusion you. It's all false.
Well, and to go further into that, remember I said that I was going to wait and see if you spoke about it. We had the nephew story, of course.
Yes.
Someone just recently did, I think it was in the last couple of years, just did a walkabout in the cemetery.
Uh-huh.
Their headstones were not facing in the wrong direction at all. They were facing the correct direction along with everyone else. However, there is probably one of our 2-lane road size gap between them and the entire rest of the cemetery. And then there's a fence on their, like if you're facing their headstones, the nephew's here in the front, she's in the back, and they go along that fence. So they are facing the correct way. However, they're it's just those two, and they're literally right up against the fence.
So my brain says that area against the fence is probably property of that family, or their family's plot.
That's what I'm thinking. Or, the whole witch situation or whatever, that was kind of because they're separated from the rest of the cemetery. And apparently the nephew's headstone is loose and you can turn it in a whole other direction. Because the guy that was looking around and everything, he actually walked over and just spun it completely around like it was nothing. Hers didn't move as easy, but you can also spin hers. So I would say that people are moving them to
probably
further the whole thing.
They're doing it on dare.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, it was a lot more. When I was watching it, I was looking and I was like, their headstones are not facing another direction. And he brought it up.
I feel like my aunt would go up there and take pictures.
Right. Oh, yeah.
if I called her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 5 minutes down the road. She's gonna be like, you should drive up here and take them yourself.
That's what I was just going to say.
And I should.
That means you're taking a trip because she's going to be like, I don't do this for free. You'll just have to come with me. But he panned around and was like, note that their headstones are facing the same direction as everybody else. Now, the detail on the stone isn't as good, of course, anymore. It's kind of hard as far as the stairs, what direction they would be going in. I've tried to look a few times, like in different pictures and different angles, and it's really hard to tell what.
You can't.
But that's probably a lot of people are just like, they're going down. You know,
it's a matter of perspective, I think. And I think there might be some wear on the stone itself from the pictures I saw. So then you wouldn't be able to see some of those finer details that indicate this is an upward or this is a downward.
Yeah.
The gates are not menacing gates, and one has to assume that if someone is drawing gates that are supposed to represent hell, that they're going to be menacing, and these are just simple, nothing like welcome to the pearly gates.
Right. Yeah. Really, it's no different than, and I've seen that scene, lots, and it's the same as everybody else's. But I mean, it's a fun story for everybody, and it's a huge one. Like, so many people go out there for that reason, and you really got to wonder how many people actually just kind of embellish everything and like turn the stone, and you know what I'm saying? Because like you just wasted a whole big trip to go over there for literally no reason. It's possible. I don't know, but I've always found her grave stories pretty interesting.
I'm still annoyed that I could have gone up there and didn't know anything about it.
I know.
Next time.
Oh, definitely.
Aunt Lori, if you're listening, I guess there's going to be a next time. We said we were going to do it every year, and we haven't done that. So we're gonna fix that.
We skipped bizarre burials last time because
because we're doing crawfish and pepperoni rolls.
Yeah. So I picked a doozy for this one here.
Oh, I just can't wait.
I think that you can. This messed you up.
Oh no.
This is definitely it is no beads or turning of bones. So this bizarre burials, we are going to discuss endocannibalism, which is the ritual of consumption of the dead within one's own community.
I'm sorry. What now?
Want me to start over? No. Consumption of the dead.
Yes.
Within one's own community, typically as part of funerary rites or mortuary rites. That's right.
You know what? I'm gonna just shut up. I'm gonna listen. Tell me all about it.
I will. I'm gonna.
All right.
Also, I'm gonna just forewarn you. I have tons of words here that I have the pronunciations written down to. Some of them probably not. So there's a lot because,
I will try to follow along without reading ahead and help you if I can.
So this is distinct from exocannibalism, which involves consuming outsiders and is often framed as an act of honor, mourning, or spiritual incorporation rather than sustenance.
Okay.
So the core ritual and meaning behind this, the mourning and incorporation, which is many groups understood the act as a way to keep the deceased close to, absorb their essence, virtues, and their life force into the living community. The emphasis is on love, grief, and continuity, not on hunger, which is good.
Oh,
right. The sacred duty. Participation could be a social and spiritual obligation. Refusing might be seen as a slight to the family or the dead, underscoring that the ritual is about relational care as much as it is belief. So if you are chosen to be part of it and you say, nah, you're basically offending the family or the dead.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So some notable cultural examples. This is where I'm going to screw up words. Maybe. The Wari, which is Western Brazil. Endocannibalism was an act of compassion In ideal form, affines or in-laws consumed the roasted remains of the deceased, a practice embedded in mortuary context and social bonds.
I have okay, so this is when they are freshly dead. They're not like
yes, right,
saving some pieces and turning it into
well, it depends.
uncle jerky or something.
It depends. These are all different cultures and they all do different things. But yes, it's probably done pretty quickly, and that they are consuming them for their life force and their essence and stuff. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Okay, which is
for
beautiful
very long.
when you say it like that.
I know. See, I try to make it sound much better, but that's what it is. The Yanomamo mourners consumed a mixture of ground bone and cremation ash, a form of endocannibalism centered on remains rather than flesh, is ritually complete grief and maintain connection with the dead. So they do ground bone and cremation ash, which that's ground bone. So
that's what that is. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds a little less crazy. I won't say crazy.
For us, it sounds crazy.
Right. To them, it's perfectly normal. So can't really.
Yeah.
The Amakahua bone particles were gathered from cremation ashes, ground with corn, and drunk as again, a mortuary practice rooted in honoring the deceased rather than feeding the living.
When you said ground with corn, I immediately started thinking of moonshine. And
right. Okay.
But they said they turned it into
it's cool.
That's a whole bowl of mash. I don't know.
Basically, yes. Historical references. Classical sources like Herodotus mention funerary cannibalism among certain groups, like the Kalishay, highlighting that the practice has long been part of a global mortuary diversity. I don't know about global. I feel like that's a little less.
That's over here.
Yeah. The four and the medical aftermath. See, this is what I was kind of curious about. Among the four of Papua New Guinea, relatives consumed the bodies of the deceased so their vitality would return to the hamlet. The practice inadvertently spread kuru, an infectious prion disease, especially among women and children who consumed brain tissue, where prions concentrate. Kuru's epidemic dynamics and genetic studies among the four became foundational to prion research and public health understanding. So Papua New Guinea had diseases because they were eating brain matter.
Is prion a word that I should know the definition of? What is that?
I have heard it several times, not just here, but I can't remember exactly what that was. It is an infectious disease. I feel like that's probably not a big thing.
I feel like no.
But maybe. I don't know.
I know that you can catch some things from eating the human, but you have to consume a lot of it.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think that in this whole practice, I don't think that it's a lot, regardless of which form that they do it in, or maybe it used to be. And then that becomes a problem.
So apparently a prion is a misfolded protein.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, interesting.
I feel like that's not that big of a deal.
So now we know that.
Interesting. I wouldn't have known that. All right. So some misconceptions and colonial narratives. Cannibalism stories were often weaponized to justify conquest and paint targets as savage. While endocannibalism did exist and carried profound meaning for some societies, sensational accounts have historically blurred ritual context with caricature and stigma. Reading these rituals through their own cosmologies, mourning, kinship, and spirit, keeps the lens human rather than lurid. How the ritual works in practice. So preparing the remains, this is the part that I was talking about. So methods are varied. They have roasting the flesh, cremating, and then consuming bone and ash, or processing remains into ritual foods. Each step followed scripted communal roles that bound kin, affines, and neighbors in grief work. Timing and taboo of it all. These rites tended to occur shortly after death. There we go. And were bounded by strict rules of who participates, which parts are consumed, and how the transition from corpse to ancestor is marked. So there are rules. The act closes with the liminal period of mourning through consumption or ash ingestion. The dead's presence is transformed from a body in the world to a memory within the living, socially and spiritually complete. So I would think that if I would have to do any of these things.
How did you know what I was going to ask? Go ahead.
That was going to be my question for each of us. I would have to, honestly, if it were Ash, as wild and crazy as y'all's all going to think this is, I don't think I would have that big of a problem with it.
Mhm.
I would be fine. So
I feel the
would
same
go
way.
with just Ash.
Yeah. If I had to choose, that would be mine too. I think my next one would probably be where it's mixed in the gruel.
That would be my runner-up.
And I don't know about the roasting flesh thing at all. Like,
I
what
feel-
happens if you vomit? What if your stomach churns from this? Now,
I would
it being
assume
part of
that would
culture.
be very offensive, but they also pick special people to do this. So
Correct.
I feel like it's people that not only would agree to do it and they know can, you know what I mean? So as not to upset everybody by chucking on
Right.
the leg that's laying there. You know what I mean?
Right.
'Cause
My other question, for some reason, I have been in my head when you say stuff about roasting flesh, I picture it cut like in strips, not like
no,
fillet
all
maybe?
of the
Or flayed, not
all of the artwork and illustrations that I found, literally, there was like a leg on a spit roasting.
oh.
Some of them showed like a head over on the ground and then like an arm or like a whole entire leg on the fire. Or nope, they used the whole thing. So it looked to me on everything that I found that it was just limbs.
Okay.
But I would assume that they had like specific parts, like probably by each family and culture that does it in that way, they probably have a specific part.
Or like what if it was specific parts of your personality or whatever makes you you are housed in specific body parts, kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I have a thought, but I'm so
Yeah, it's interesting.
yeah.
But like I said, different pictures and different illustrations have it was mostly a leg.
It's always the leg, man.
I know. I think that if I were in, and that goes back to the whole, could you eat somebody if you had to? Like if you were in a situation where you were going to starve to death? I honestly don't know.
I don't either.
I can't say that I would or wouldn't because who knows?
Listen, if we're ever in a situation where that needs to happen, I'm a big girl. If I go first,
and I am
you have
not,
to consume me to survive, I'm okay with that.
You're going to starve to death.
But
I'm a little meatier than I was, so you wouldn't starve completely, but you're still going to be hungry. So.
What's your Hogwarts house?
I don't have one because remember, I still yet to watch any Harry Potters.
I know. I tried to get you to watch them. I think
did.
we got fully through the first one.
Oh, we did.
I'll send you a link.
That's right, because I was very proud.
Okay. I'll send you a link so you can take the actual test, okay? So.
Okay.
We're going to talk about mine here in just a moment. Did you know that the school in America for witchcraft and wizardry is called Ilvermorny?
I did not.
Ilvermorny.
I like it.
I do too. And I can't remember exactly where in America it's supposed to be, but now you know about that. So you know from watching the first one with me that the schools are broken up into houses.
Yes.
And each house has its own colors.
Yes.
And its own mascot.
Yes.
So at Hogwarts, I would be a Hufflepuff.
Yes. I know all of your things.
You know all
everyone that I know that is into Harry Potter, I know all of their houses and all that.
Do you remember what my Patronus is?
No.
I was very excited to find this out because it's your favorite animal.
Oh, yes,
And
I do.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because you messaged me immediately and was like, I was like,
I hope that your Patronus is a bat since mine is a fox.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun.
That would be so wild. I don't even know if that is an option for a Patronus.
I don't know.
But I hope that's what it was. That'd be so weird.
Right?
Okay, so at Ilvermorny, do you know what my house would be?
No.
I'm going to give you a hint. It's what we call Delilah when she's having a spell.
Oh, that's a what? That's a house?
Ma'am, I would be a puckwudgie at Ilvermorny. Do you love that?
Yes.
So I have to be careful
That
because
is
my dog
glorious.
will actually lose her mind if she hears me say that too many
I
times.
can attest to that.
Well,
That's what started us with Puckwudgies. She can't hear me, so it's fine. I can keep saying it.
Yeah, I can hear you.
But
she can't.
Yeah, she heard it once, and then it turned into a whole thing with that dog.
Yeah, and now anytime you do it, if you do it in a certain manner, especially you can just like put your hand on her face, and she'll lose her mind.
That doesn't trust me.
And we say that you have activated Puckwudgie mode. So why am I talking about these Puckwudgies? Well, I'm talking about them because they're listed as a cryptid, and so I want to talk about you. So this, I actually wanted to cover these for a while. I thought about this being my first one.
They're one of my favorites.
I changed my mind. Yeah. Zoe actually requested this for the crawfish and pepperoni rolls episode, but there was not enough pepperoni roll in the story.
Right.
So because they're sort of all through Appalachia, and I was trying to keep it West Virginia.
Yeah.
What a strange thing to say. Keep it West Virginia, y'all.
What? You know.
I don't know what that means.
It's true.
It's all pepperoni roll here.
It is. Yep.
Okay. So let's learn a thing or two about these little fellas. The elusive Puckwudgie is one of the most mischievous and mysterious figures in Native American folklore. These small goblin-like beings originate from Wampanoag legends and are said to dwell in the forests of the northeastern United States. Typically standing 2 to 3 feet tall, they're described as having porcupine-like backs and large noses and ears and a humanoid front that's part troll, part trickster. So their abilities and behaviors. They can appear and disappear at will because they apparate and disapparate, and that is glorious.
Yes,
it is a spell I would like to learn. Known to shapeshift, often into dangerous forest creatures. They use magic, poison arrows, and even fire. They're said to lure people off cliffs or into danger if disrespected. Originally friendly to humans, Puckwudgies turned hostile after feeling slighted by the Wampanoag people's devotion to the giant Moshop. I hope I said that right. Some stories claim they even killed Moshop's son in revenge. So in a nutshell, Moshop is a creation giant and was credited with shaping Cape Cod. He's the Wampanoag people's protector, providing food, guidance, and even shapes landscape with his enormous footprints and deeds.
Oh.
He sounds fun.
He does.
There are some anecdotal accounts of encounters with these tiny menaces. In Indiana's Mound State Park, which is particularly rich with Puckwudgie lore, Paul Startzman, an author and amateur archaeologist, claimed multiple encounters dating back to 1927 when he was just 10. He described seeing a little man with dull blonde hair shaped like a helmet and protruding ears. Interesting. Eloise H., just an H, no rest of her last name given, interviewed in a nursing home, recalled playing alone in the park as a child and being approached by a group of little people who spoke in high-pitched voices and an unknown language. She experienced similar encounters later in life.
Oh.
Imagine. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to go with the little people, and then as you're older, they come and they visit you.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Puckwudgies have made their way into modern media. Mount State Park in Madison County, Indiana, hosted a Glow Puckwudgie hike, inviting visitors to explore the woods and share their own sightings. How fun is that?
I would do that.
At 100%.
Yeah.
They have been featured in several podcasts, such as this one.
Right.
Video games, and in contemporary fiction. Tabletop role-playing games. Dungeons and Dragons incorporates Puckwudgies as fey creatures in various source books.
They do.
Maybe it was a Puckwudgie waving those leaves at Zoe, trying to make her enter the Feywild.
Could be.
They're presented as small tricksters with abilities like invisibility, poison darts, and firelighting. Often allied to darker fey courts, they ambush unwary adventurers with hit-and-run tactics. Pathfinder and other fantasy RPGs, that's role-playing games for you non-geeks, borrow the D&D template, tweaking their stat blocks to emphasize mischief over outright malice. Trading card and collectible games. Evan, this is for you, okay? First of all, I moved my microphone because you said it feels like I'm sitting too close to it, so it's moved. So tell me it worked, whether or not that worked. All right, Evan is the custodian, and he listens to us. Or he did. He also has a podcast, and as soon as they start publishing, we'll give him a shout out.
Absolutely.
It's a D&D one, or RPG.
Nice.
Anyway, maybe
let
not
me know and I'll
specifically.
follow all the things.
It's about Magic the Gathering.
Even better.
Now that
I played Magic more than I did D&D, so.
Yeah, I probably played D&D more than I did Magic, but he came to the copier. I was there, and he was like, "I'm listening to your podcast right now," and I went, "I'm sorry? Yes, thank you."
You're what now?
And he's like, then he started telling me about the podcast he has, I guess, with his buddy or buddies. And he's like, "So I play this card game, and it's called Magic the Gathering," and I was like, "It's cute that you said that. Like, I don't know what that is because I've never played before." Until a few months back, I still played D&D.
Right.
All right. Magic the Gathering. The card Pukwudgie from Shadowmoor 2008 depicts a 1/1 green creature that taps into the land and lets you draw cards, an echo of the folklore creature's connection to the forest. Flavor text often underscores their dual nature. Helpful guides turned vengeful spirits. Topps cryptid cards, and I've got to find some of those. And similar collectible series sometimes include Pukwudgies alongside Bigfoot and Mothman, framing them as part of North America's hidden wildlife. Love that.
I need to find those because I don't recall those at all. It's probably something from,
It's probably something we should have owned. Yeah.
Know about, but now we would like to.
Yes. Now they probably cost thousands of dollars and we'll never own any. If somebody has a spare Pukwudgie card laying around, Evan, I'm talking to you. I would love to have that. So television and documentary series, Destination Truth and Monster Quest on the Sci-Fi Channel featured alleged Pukwudgie sightings around Cape Cod using reenactments and night vision footage to heighten suspense.
I have seen both of those, actually.
I have not, and now I'm going to go and look them up later. Lore and true monster-style documentary series on streaming platforms dedicate episodes to malevolent fairies, casting Pukwudgies as archetypal forest demons rather than the ambivalent spirits of indigenous lore.
Really?
Yeah. So for my missing moment, I keep picking these cases that are a bit older, and so there's not quite enough information on them. When I search on the internet, technology, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. And I wish there was a way to put our technology from now to when these people were missing so we could get more information out to people.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, my missing moment is about Clarendon Ray Rowan Jr., and he was born on April 2nd, 1950, and was 40 years old when he vanished. He went by the nicknames Bill and Buck. He is described as a white male with brown hair, green eyes, standing about 5 foot 8 inches tall, weighing 205 pounds. And he was sporting a neat, full beard at the time of his disappearance, and he has a scar between his right thumb and forefinger. Rowan disappeared on January 29th, 1991, between 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. from his home at Route 2, Box 142, Buckhannon in Upshur County, West Virginia. Now, that will be an old mailing address.
Right.
An old physical address.
Sure.
With 911 updates, that will have a house number and a street name or a road name.
Right.
I tried to figure out where that was. It did take me to a road, but I don't want to say that's where it was without being 100% certain on it.
Yeah.
He was wearing a flannel shirt layered over a t-shirt, jeans, and work boots. Although investigators deemed the circumstances suspicious, no public records confirm foul play. His case is listed in NamUs as MP 17328, and the MP, again, is missing person, and remains open with the West Virginia Police and the Upshur County Sheriff's Office. No unidentified remains in NCIC or NamUs have been matched to him. Online forums like Web Sleuths still discuss his case, but no verifiable leads have emerged. Rowan's family holds periodic vigils and issues public appeals for information. Law enforcement continues to welcome tips of any kind. If you happen to have any information about this case, you can contact the Upshur County Sheriff's Office at 304-472-9550 or the West Virginia State Police Missing Persons Unit. And I'm sorry that I don't have any more information. I looked and looked. This is one of those cases that I started
Just doesn't have.
and kept going back to.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
kept finding thing. And it's an older, I mean, it's not old, but it's
Yeah, I mean,
91.
yeah.
So you remember when I said that there were like the 16 pictures on the West Virginia State Police page, I think it was, and I couldn't figure out how to navigate the page because technology.
Right.
I think that those are all people, and this is just my thinking from because I've now looked into each and every one of those.
Right.
I think these are suspicious circumstances, but no real information.
No detail.
Cases.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know. I just want to make sure that we don't forget these people's names so their cases don't get lost to time.
All right, y'all. I think that's all we have for you this time. Thank you for joining us around the fire tonight. If you've got your own macabre musings, tales, questions, or lore you're dying to hear, find us on Facebook or drop us a line at Macabre.Musings.Podcast at gmail.com.
Pull up a chair next time as we dive into more dark, creepy lore and maybe tumble down a rabbit hole or two. Until then, keep your lanterns low and your curiosities high.
We will see y'all later.